Aang defied all odds to master all 4 elements within one summer and defeated the Fire Lord. By doing this, he restored balance to the world. Many celebrated this and hailed Aang as the savior of the world. But we also failed to see the sacrifices it took to be the Avatar. Aang is given the great honor of having this power and the ability to become this leader of the world, but at the cost of his childhood and his ideologies. Early in the series, Aang struggles with accepting his role as the Avatar. Where Aang just wanted to be the kid that he was, the weight of the world fell on him quite early in his life. Even though he was a prodigy at airbending, he was still treated the same as the kid that he was. When they found out he was the Avatar, he was no longer that innocent kid. He was someone who would become the most powerful person in the whole entire world. The person to lead the world to peace, the role model to everyone. For as long as he is alive, he will be the most important person in the world. All Aang wanted was to be a kid, and to have fun, and to play with his friends. Eavesdropping on his mentors, he hears that he's going to be moved to a different temple, to train as the Avatar. Hearing this, he flees, leaving behind Gyatso, his friends, and his life. Becoming the Avatar is a responsibility that weighs on Aang, because he doesn't know if he can become what the world needs him to be. He never even chose this path in life, but it had been forced onto him. He clings to his childhood hoping that his responsibilities will go away. At first he flies around the world visiting random places, riding different animals, and seeing the sights, still not accepting his role in the world, fleeing again from his responsibilities. This tight grip on his childhood is taken away from him when he arrives at the Western Air Temple, where he finds his friend, his mentor, dead and forgotten, along with his people. They were searching for the Avatar, searching for Aang. It was not Aang's fault, but because he was the Avatar, because he existed, his people were slaughtered. To be given that honor and power of being the Avatar is a story that was repeated hundreds of times, making each person who incarnated the Avatar's power become a slave to the world's needs. The Avatar's sole purpose is to keep the peace and balance to the world. In the last episode of the series, we see Aang contemplating with his ideologies, trying to find another way than killing Ozai. He calls on past Avatars, asking for the wisdom, pleading for a way to keep his hands clean. Each time he asks, he is given the same answer, that his morals and his ideals come second to what the world needs. To be the Avatar, he must protect the world's peace at any cost. He gets the same answer even asking a fellow airbender.
Here is my wisdom for you. Selfless duty calls you to sacrifice your own spiritual needs and do whatever it takes to protect the world.
I guess I don't have a choice, Momo. I have to kill the Fire Lord.
Yang Chen understands the philosophies of Aang and knows the teachings of their people inside and out, but still, she advocates for Aang to take Ozai's life in order to save the world. This video is not to look down on the Avatar or advocate against the Avatar, because without Aang, the world would have fallen to Fire Lord Ozai. The world would have been burned to a crisp. Nations disbanded and genocide of the Earth Nation. I bring you this video to deepen your understanding of what it takes to be an Avatar, what the sacrifices each and every Avatar gave to keep the balance of the world. Before we go on to celebrate the heroes in this story, we have to understand what sacrifices it takes to be that hero. Aang gave his agency to do what he wanted, to save the world. His maturing process was accelerated, and his childhood cut short. He had no chance to grieve his people's genocide. His agency with his ideas were taken away from him. No longer his actions affecting him and his friends, but instead the world at large. Being the Avatar comes with fame, power, and immediate engraving into history. But it comes with a responsibility to hold the world together, to keep the balance of the world, to put the world before themselves.